Tonight on Myteam, we arrive at the jewel of the Formula 1 calendar. Sergio Perez is himself, and there's every chance that we get a hat-trick of wins in Formula 1. Greetings, you bombastic birdlings, and welcome back to the F1 23 Myteam career mode. And we start off where we usually start off, with money, because I am vain. So we're going to get a secondary sponsor, another one, on our car, which technically makes it a tertiary sponsor, I guess. I don't know, I'm hazy with the details. Anyways, we looked through the qualifiers, as it were, and we decided it'd be rude, considering our form and our extreme pace, not to go with Lupo Industries. So that's what we're gonna do. Achieve a top 4 finish is the goal. They have the biggest goal bonus, and we're gonna sign them on to this wondrous Ribena Racing team for the next few races. Oh, that's the stock market. You know what? Also, their logo was just incredible. Look at that. Perfect placement right there. Just being pinched by the black tints of our livery. On the side of the rear wing. Oh, yes, that is... Ribena Racing won and Carl won another race. That's all you need to know now. Bye! Well, it was certainly one to remember in Imola, wasn't it? Changeable conditions once again put Ribena Racing at the forefront. That is not to say that their pace before wasn't electric, because it was. Making inroads at the start and then staying on the back of the leading group with DRS. The inspired decision-making is what won Karl Perez and Ribena Racing the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Up and down the field there was chaos, but today we're going to spin the wheel and we're going to choose a race distance, because I think he's had it too nice so far. Nah, come on, this is ridiculous, man. So let's spin the wheel then. Of course, we're off to Monaco. Let's see what race distance we are going to have then. Oh, lovely. I wonder how long the race distance is going to be then. Oh, I just don't know. Oh, would you look at that? It's a 50% race. Will Ribena Racing take the win? Will one of the top competitors reclaim their throne? Or will there be another surprise? We're off to the diamond of the Formula 1 calendar. And no, I'm not sorry about the wheel spin. Bye. Fine then, Will. Have it your way. Time to crush the competition. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the diamond, the jewel of the Formula 1 calendar, which is aptly named so because you can't overtake there. Look at that absolute vixen of a man. 2 race wins on the bounce. And let's see what can be done here in Monaco. And I'll be honest, qualifying was an absolute cakewalk. Q1 across the line, where P1. It's not even close. 7 tenths, nearly 8 tenths of a second clear of our nearest competitor. Enzo, I swear to God, man, there are actually faster woodlice than you. Well, Enzo's out because he's banned. And now we're in Q2 as the lone Ribena Racing car, once again in this season, setting the timing screen to light, but oh no. It's Guan Yu Zhou, who's just gone wide. You think he'd have bought his lap. No, he cuts across us like a beaver. And one could say, damn, things are getting a bit bad now. There's every chance we couldn't make it through to Q3. We're into Q3. Flex. And Karma is indeed the female dog that has bitten the ankle of Guan Yu Zhou. Indeed, he is not through to Q3. He's not even on the screen because he's a raving fraud. Says the guy commentating over an F1 game in his living room. We seem absolutely omnipotent around Monaco, so let's go through one lap here in Q3, our first and only lap we're going to do this session. And I'm going to take you on a tour of the streets of Monte Carlo, cascading towards the first corner, then cutting it as fine as you like, almost grazing the wall on the way out, and then powering up the hill as we head towards the casino square, trying our luck. Do we put it all on black or on red? Well, the answer is we can do it on both because our tyres are literally black and red, if you know what I'm saying. It's actually not a purple Sector 1, though, which is very interesting stuff. We're a 10th up, though, nearly 2 tenths up, on Verstappen in 6th as we enter the Lowe's hairpin, or as I like to call it, Lidl car park. Through the right-hander and into Portier next. We actually have to make a small little correction on the turn-in as the front end just bit in like a rabid dog. And we've heard many of those. It got Guan Yu Zhou earlier, and now our front end is being controlled like a Rottweiler. Through into the Nouvelle chicane. Ignore. We head into Tabac now, and we're going to smoke the opposition, hopefully, through the left-hander, flicking it in as quick as possible, and there's green on the top right, but all I see is purple on the bottom left. This is fantastic. 8 tenths up on Charles Leclerc's current time. Into Raskas again, having to correct ourselves on the turn-in. The same again here into Anthony Noakes. DRS open, the traction complies beautifully. And ladies and gentlemen, across the line we go for an outstanding first pole position in Formula One. And what a way to do it, and what a venue to do it at. The most prestigious one on the calendar, almost 6 tenths between us and George Russell. A 1 minute 9.9 is on our score sheet. We've absolutely set the timing screens ablaze here in Monte Carlo. What a qualifying session from us. First in Q1, held up in Q2. No pundits can deny our zest. And we leave the rest of the grid feeling rather sour, let's be honest. Nearly 6 tenths between us and our nearest competitor. 2.5 quicker than Bottas. Gasly and him did well, by the way, to get into Q3. Alonso did lone Aston Martin. Hamilton and Russell did very well for Mercedes to get 2nd and 4th, the other way around, respectively. But if we're this dominant in qualifying, then bring on the race. I am so ready.
A proper road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That's how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half-century, but we still race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean. There is no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Grim Reaper lines up on pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, Leclerc, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Bottas, Ocon, Stroll, Norris, Joe, Oscar Piastri, Magnussen, Perez, Tsunoda, Albon, De Vries, Fittipaldi, Hulkenberg, and Logan Sargent. Now with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. Alongside me once again for coverage of today's race, it's none other than the great Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Grim Reaper. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
They've been avoiding mistakes and have had solid pace, so it's been a good season so far, but whether they can keep that up long-term remains to be seen.
Pole by 6 tenths. Let's really send a statement in the race. 5 red lights in Monaco. Lights out and away we go. And a lot of wheel spin at the start, but not as much as George Russell. Verstappen on the hards tries to get past. We get clouted. We get clouted by Max Verstappen from behind, and that was a hefty hit. I'm surprised if he doesn't have damage.
Verstappen behind you now.
Well, the engineer's comments were about as helpful as gonorrhea. Mark's infectiously bad information aside, we're heading through the Casino Square. We've really played our cards extremely right as we head through into Mirabeau then and towards the Lowe's hairpin, tobogganing down towards the slowest corner in Formula One for the first time through, and we're already almost a second ahead. We are a second ahead of Max Verstappen, and I'm quite glad he's actually got ahead of Russell, because on those hards, we're going to have such a pace offset, and it's going to cause us to romp away. Replay at the start then, as you can see, we get a great launch in comparison to Russell. Verstappen actually gets a better launch and is alongside. We brake where we should, and Verstappen literally toboggans into the back of us, which is unbelievable. Again, I had no idea how he didn't get front wing damage, so he's counting his lucky stars. But you can see the train of cars, immediately the Monaco effect coming into play, and then you can see through Casino and into Mirabeau what kind of a gap we managed to get on Verstappen. The car complying straight away, the tyres biting into the bitumen and into Lowe's hairpin. It's just crazy. Look at the train as Joe's going down the inside of Norris there, I think. Here's on board with Perez, though. I forgot to mention, grid penalty for the Red Bull driver on the hard tyres, and he immediately gets rinsed by Tsunoda at the start, who comes across, and now he's under attack from Tsunoda's teammate De Vries, who's getting very racy indeed. Luckily, Perez doesn't have to suffer that embarrassment for now, because he might jump off a bridge if he get overtaken by Nick. Fortunately, he doesn't have to endure that fate. On board with Alonso, though, for his start, and it's because look at this, Sainz and Hamilton completely drop anchor. Alonso straight up into 5th, Leclerc into 4th. Fantastic starts for the pair of them. The battle going on ahead between Verstappen and Russell, which is won out, unfortunately, by this man. But a great start from the Aston Martin driver, who's really got the hopes of Aston Martin on his shoulders here. Bottas was up into 8th, by the way. Gasly up into 9th. purely because of promotions from penalties, but Bottas managed to overthrow Gasly at the start. So great job from the Alfa Romeo driver, as we can see into the Lowe's hairpin. And once again, looking at Guan Yu Zhou and Lando Norris side by side through the Lowe's hairpin. That's a hell of a car park right there, and almost a very expensive one if they binned it. But Zhou actually wins out. On to the end of lap number 1, though, ladies and gentlemen. And I can't lie, we were massive. We were absolutely massive. Vehicle condition, luckily no damage on our wagon so far. And now the job is literally just building the gap. And I reckon we can do it big time. Our qualifying advantage was ridiculous. And we're going to emulate that qualifying success here in the race. At the end of lap number 2, we gain on Verstappen by just over a second. A 1 minute 12.3. Fantastic stuff there. And as you can see, I'm going to show you that gap increase and increase lap after lap. So here we are then, end of lap number 3, 3.3 seconds. And then lap number 4, it's 4.1 seconds. We are gaining almost a second every single lap on the Red Bull driver. This is unbelievable speed that we're showing. The end of lap number 6, 6.3 seconds already worth of a gap. My goodness me, if we did a one-stop in this race, we would be completely indomitable, unpenetrable, unstoppable. We already are unstoppable, really. This drive will go down in F1 folklore, to be honest with you. But there's not really much to see from my end. We're just building the gap. So we're going to look behind here, and it's at Sergio Perez at the end of lap number 7, because he's still tankered up behind Yuki Tsunoda, who's got him locked and pinned like a straitjacket. Perez really with no way out and no way through on the sister car of the Alpha Tauri. He's finding any way through, trying to anyway, through Anthony Noakes. Oh no! Perez with a massive mistake as he hits the wall out of the exit of Anthony Noakes, as he's facing completely the wrong way, reverses out and into the path of Logan Sargent, who he does make contact with, almost embarrasses himself more by chopping his front wing off. Here it is again, and he thought full throttle was a great idea. So well done, Sergio. What was already a bad enough race has completely gone tits up for him. Down in 22nd, plumb last in this race. The Red Bull driver has had a complete mare of it, and after executing a 65-point turn, he does eventually go the right way and opens DRS in, well, to overtake some nitrogen particles. Whilst Perez goes to war with himself here on lap number 14, and our pit window opens here, as you can see. Medium tyres, and I can confirm I'm going to do a 2-stop in this race. Like I said, I want to make a statement today, a big statement. The gap now 14.4 seconds. We actually extended it for one more lap here. So on to the end of lap number 15, sliding through a little kiss with barrier, just for effect. And we head into the pits for our first of 2 stops here at the Monaco Grand Prix. We'll have to do some overtaking, I have no doubt about that. But for now, can we get a purple turn in? Oh, yes, we do. And we emerge out of the pits only in 4th place. We don't get overtaken by Alonso, which is what I was fearing. We have a good pocket of clean air where we can get up to speed, get into the rhythm, and manage to deploy our ERS and lunge in the Monegasque favourite, Charles Leclerc. Through Casino Square we go, and the tyres immediately gripping into the surface. We can start reeling in the Monegasque driver, the home favourite, as I've said before. Creativity is not one of my strong points, I think. On the other side of that coin, though, we're turning the Monaco track into our canvas. An artistic absolution of racing brilliance, as we're in the slipstream of Charles Leclerc, heading to the Nouvelle chicane, deploying the ERS. Could consider a raucous dive, but in the end we don't go for it, actually kissing the back of the Ferrari, and the turn-in is so ferocious. We consider a switchback, but again, Leclerc defends it well, nothing to do there. So through the swimming pool chicane then, and we're getting a bit of a sinking feeling going behind here, so we're going to have to butterfly our way past down the inside at Rashkash. What a move there! Bravery and commitment on the absolute edge, and we find a way past the Ferrari driver, George Russell, next. We telegraph a move down the inside at Lowe's hairpin, but we hit him in the back twice, actually, because he's got... Look, listen, if I see that cake, I'm going to eat it, all right? Through Portier we go, where we're so incredibly quick through there compared to the AI. And the thing is, I'm not even used to this kind of performance. Think back to Miami and Imola, our previous 2 races, where we had to fight hammer and tong all the way through. This time, we've learned from last time not to clatter over the curbs, and it's a sumptuous switchback on the Mercedes driver, down the inside at Tabac. Next target, You know who? It's Max Verstappen, the only car between us and the lead. And bearing in mind, he hasn't made a pit stop and we have. And what an exit out of turn number 1 we do. And we're going to absolutely dance around Max Verstappen. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you take the lead at Monaco in some style. Round the outside at the casino square. We put all of our chips in one basket and they came out double. Absolutely wondrous move, and now we can set about escaping once again. And compared to the first lap where we built a sizable gap as it is, we absolutely thunder away from Max Verstappen. What a race we're having. Meanwhile, on lap number 18, the first of the leading group to blink, that isn't me, is Charles Leclerc. Onto the hard tyres, I would rightly assume. Yes, I do rightly assume. Onto the hards. He's got a hard on. Stop, look away. Anyway, before someone makes another thirst trap, which is going to make my eyes bleach out of the pits goes Charles Leclerc. We're going to see where he peels out in the field. He's currently in 8th place. I assume Stroll and Ocon will go past, which they do. Hopefully, he gets out ahead of the Alfa Romeo of Zhou, because that will really curtail his plan. Luckily, Ferrari have made a sensible decision, and Leclerc filters out into a lovely pocket of clean air. Oh, no! Oh, no! Fernando Alonso! His engine has given up the ghost, up in smokes, billowing out of the back of the Aston Martin. I always do this in blackout, man. Actually holds up his compatriot Carlos Sainz, but that is not what Alfa Romeo would have wanted. A shambolic display. Meanwhile, Hamilton and Sainz have come into the pits, obviously, and Leclerc easily gets back past them, but he was ahead of them anyway, so it's not exactly a problem. Leclerc, though, gets past Ocon as well and all of that, which I miss. Great stuff there from Leclerc in terms of his progress. Meanwhile, looking at our progress, it's not even funny how fast we are. This is before Alonso retired, by the way. End of lap number 19. So Alonso's going to retire in a few corners' time. Spoilers. Through Raskas we go, and even though we go wide into Anthony Noakes, as you can see, we're going to absolutely send it to the line and be well into the 111s, surely. Oh, yes! 1 minute 11.8. This is great stuff. And, well, we're just going to have to look at what's happening everywhere else. Here's Bottas actually trying to make a move. No! Bottas, what have you done? His nose gets cut clean off. He was going for a gap that was always closing. He's literally a guy that tried to slam a revolving door. Voldemort greets him with open arms. But Alfa Romeo are absolutely seething. What was Bottas thinking? Anyway, lap number 21. What's this? Leclerc's got past Verstappen. The undercut has worked. Gasly's currently running in P2, by the way, so what an effort from the Alpine driver. He's 30 seconds behind us, but we'll gloss over that for a little bit. Leclerc gets ahead of Verstappen with the undercut. A quality bit of strategy from Ferrari. Meanwhile, here's someone with the whole hope of Aston Martin on his shoulders. Oh, no! Lance Stroll, what have you done as well? And it's another AlphaTauri, Nick de Vries, who slams the door on Lance Stroll. A gap that, again, was always going to close. And Lance Stroll becomes a victim of his own stupidity, quite frankly. On to lap number 22, and we're going to ignore the contact and the idiocy for a second here, because here's Pierre Gasly coming out of the pits, and what a strategy Alpine have done. They've pulled a blinder, and he's going to filter out easily into P7. So a great bit of strategic thinking from Alpine, and a great first stint from Gasly puts them in solid points. Lap 23 for us, and I wanted to show you this because, as you can see, we have blue flags. This is the first time this has ever happened to me in a career mode, I'm pretty certain, in terms of uploading. We are lapping people. There's Valtteri Bottas completely rinsed. Our teammates just up ahead. Although it's tricky to lap these guys because they're on much, much fresher tyres than me at this point. Which is fine, you know. It just means I get to flex on them more. Our fuel is also a bit of an issue. We're not exactly firmly in the green. So we're actually keeping an eye on that, making sure we do get to the end of the race. As we see on the top left, that's Gasly pitting. Leclerc assuming second position, rightly so. And Fittipaldi gets out of our way. And that kind of sums up our whole season so far. We have been absolutely deadlifting, bench pressing, and all other exercises for our team this season. And Fittipaldi's been nowhere. Hulkenberg, meanwhile, where's he going? Jesus Christ, he's off to the Spanish Grand Prix with that letting through manoeuvre. That was shocking, but we do actually get through with no squabbles at all. And into the pits we come here. This is lap 29 now for our second stop of the day. Can we get yet another purple turn-in? That's the question. What is the answer? Oh, yes, we do. Thanks, Ronaldo, again for ruining my eardrums. And we get the soft tyres on, and are you... right, okay, you know what? Fine. It's what it is. I'm not even going to be mad because we're literally the distance of the moon ahead of Charles Leclerc, so I can't really complain. Lap number 32 then, and as you can see... Oh, this is satisfying. Championship leader Sergio Perez. It really does emulate real life, this career mode. Perez having a blunder at Monaco. And unlike Hulkenberg, he gets dutifully out of the way. Very graciously indeed. We actually grazed the wall on the right-hand side, although I think no damage picked up, which is great for us. 2 purple sectors on our way to lap Sargent, who is not nearly as kind as Perez. What an absolute crustacean. Completely shellfish, didn't let us through, just wanted to have his own racing line. But anyway, it's not going to deter us from setting yet another fastest lap in this race, although we can go so much faster. And that's exactly what we're going to do on lap number 33, Verstappen's old race number. And we really are putting him to the sword this race. He's in 3rd place, not even in 2nd, and his mediums have actually started to give up the ghost. Leclerc is pulling away from him. Into Rascasse we go, and it's been one hell of a lap here at Monte Carlo, and it's going to send an absolutely superb statement. A 1 minute 10.8. Absolutely stratospheric. We're a galaxy and a half ahead of anyone else here. We're shooting for the stars, and Perez, actually, who makes contact with Sargent, on board with the Mexican driver briefly, but unlike Bottas and Stroll, gets past the Williams. And that is how you overtake round the outside of turn number 1 without greeting Voldemort. So Perez might not be having the greatest of races, but proving overtaking can be done. Skipping forwards then, lap number 39 for me, halfway through the Lowe's hairpin, and we're overtaking a McLaren, lapping a McLaren. Charles Leclerc, though, about to start his final lap. An incredible bit of strategy and drive from Leclerc. Up in 2nd, Verstappen holding off both Mercedes cars, who are chomping on him like a hungry shark. Absolutely brilliant stuff there, and they've not got long to actually get past, so Verstappen might have it signed, sealed, and delivered. Speaking of sights, there he is in 6th, Gasly in his own dreamland in 7th there for Alpine, with Kevin Magnussen in 8th, Zhou in 9th, which will get his first points of the season if he doesn't fluff it up, so that's great for him. But meanwhile, as we lap the 2nd McLaren after Portier, I mean, what can you say? What can you say? We came into this weekend 2 wins on the bounce, having to fight every inch of the way to do so. We arrived in Monaco, where everyone wrote us off. Even the pundit tried to screw us over in terms of the race distance, but we took the bull by the horns and absolutely sent him for a ride. And we are going to come through Rascasse and through Anthony Noakes, not only to lap Ocon, but crucially, for a hat-trick of wins. It's win number 3 in F1 23. My team have 3 wins on the bounce, and what a way to do it. Hardly even close. It's not even close. It's a dominant performance from myself. A credit to the whole team and the car they've given me. Magnussen, driver of the day, but that race is going to make headlines.
You can't fault the performance on track today. A well-deserved victory. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
A show-stopping performance from the 3 drivers approaching the podium right now. It's been an interesting Grand Prix, that's for sure.
You know what? I'm going to enjoy this moment for a very long time, because we might not have another race like this again. What a freaking performance. On top, the jewel of the Formula 1 calendar. We are the brightest diamond of the bunch. Absolutely astonishing effort. Ribena Racing have given me a hell of a machine. We've put in an absolute shift. Probably one of the best Monaco drives in a very long time from any driver on the Formula 1 grid. And they can only applaud us, surely, because with a hat-trick of wins, we mean business. 40 seconds was the gap in the end to Charles Leclerc, and we did 2 stops. If we'd done 1 stop, who knows what the gap would have been. It might even have been less, to be honest with you, because we would have been on similarly aged tyres. But my God, what an absolutely unbelievable day in Monte Carlo. What a weekend on the whole. Enzo as well does well. I know it was a race of attrition and people making mistakes, but you've got to be in it to win it. Enzo managing to get 16th in the end, so credit to him. Perez with a shocker, Stroll with a massive shocker. He DNF'd out of, well, I think his car just didn't care anymore. A double DNF for Aston Martin then, a car that should be right at the forefront, and they've got no explanation at all. They'll be hoping for even more. A credit to Gasly, Ocon, Zhou and Magnussen. Like I said before, their point standings have, well, changed a tiny bit as a result. Ocon stays put in 9th place with a point to his name. Gasly up to P13, Magnussen in 12th. Guan Yu Zhou, of course, first points on the board, but we are only 3 points behind Sergio Perez, more importantly. If you'd have told me that at the beginning of the season, that we'd even be within a whiff of potentially having the championship lead, I would have laughed at you. I would have cackled at you. But that's where we are. This is unbelievable. Guan Yu Zhou, like I said, credit to him. Now only Hülkenberg, Sargent, Albon, my teammate, and De Vries yet to score points. In the constructors, we're still joint second. This is just crazy. The fairy tale keeps writing itself. I mean, it just can't last. Same points as Ferrari. Mercedes, though, not far behind either. It's going to get tasty. Oh, yeah, Carlos Sainz. You've been slapped up, my friend. We were untouchable, completely untouchable. There was no way anyone was going to take this result away from us. Enzo actually loses a claim, which is not ideal, but we're almost level 11, and both our sponsors are very, very happy indeed. Another 300k to the pussycat. Only 2,500 in damages. I'm not sure why, probably a practice skill issue. But up now to 1.8 million, and that right there was 2 upgrades. It's all coming together for us, isn't it? I really can't believe it. And before you question the difficulty, this was 110 difficulty for Monaco. I'm not even kidding. 110 difficulty, and that was the result. I must say as well, it was before the patch where Codemasters made the AI NASA rocket ships in a straight line. So it probably would have been less if I'd have recorded it later, but still, what a race and what a crazy set of affairs. Pole position and a race in the pages of history. If you did enjoy this video, a hat-trick of wins in Formula 1, leave it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Content coming to your screens every single day. Next up, we head to the Spanish Grand Prix, and if this has been our form so far, then the rest of the grid had better be ready for us. Until then, thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day, and until next time, I'll see you soon.